Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Anu. We are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend your valuable lunchtime with us. And we look forward to an engaging, insightful, and an interactive experience together. Allow me to set the stage for what you can expect today. Over the next hour, we will deep dive into the Mirvac story. Our distinguished guest speakers and panelists bring with them a wealth of expertise and passion for sharing their insights. But before we introduce our speakers, I'd like to share a few housekeeping notes to ensure our session runs smoothly. First and foremost, the session is being recorded. The recording will be available to all of the registered participants, allowing you to revisit any part of the discussions or share it with your colleagues who were unable to join us live today. We encourage you to participate actively. On your screen, you will see a Q&A panel. At any time during the presentation, feel free to type in your questions. Our speakers will address as many questions as possible during the dedicated Q&A session at the end. Let me introduce our special guest for the day, Iftikhar Rahman. Iftikhar has been at the forefront of innovation and transformation within the industry and his organization. Iftikhar was not only involved in the end-to-end life cycle of the data transformation initiative within Mirvac, he was also responsible for the delivery, and he was in the trenches with the troops. Supporting Iftikhar, we have Harish. Harish is a senior partner solution engineer at Snowflake and works with partners like Altis to help us leverage the platform's capability and deliver effective solutions to our clients. Then we have my colleague Ravi, who is the product lead for Altida. He's the brain and brawn of the product. And then there is me. They had a spare seat, so I just tagged along. Uh, Before we get into the crux of it, let me just introduce all the organizations involved in today's webinar, starting with in the alphabetical order, starting with Altis. So for those who don't know Altis, Altis Consulting is a Australian-owned global data analytics company, guiding businesses, institutions, government agencies to solve the unique data challenges and making effective decisions. Then we have Mirvac. Mirvac is an Australian property development group known for its innovation and leadership in the industry. They continue to be renowned for the quality of their development and their commitment to customers and community. Snowflake, or the Snowflake AI Data Cloud, is a unified platform. It is a connected ecosystem of organizations building, using, and sharing data and apps and AI. Inside the AI Data Cloud, organizations unite their siloed data and execute diverse analytical workloads as a platform. Today, we are not going to focus on Altida's functionality, but on how Altida assisted Mirvac's data migration and transformation initiative to get them AI ready. Our clients refer to Altida as a data engineering framework, or sometimes as a data engineering productivity tool, or even a rapid application development tool. I would say it is all of the above. But the core principle is to streamline and accelerate the data ingestion and transformation process on data platforms, reducing the overall development time and effort. That is a key principle that we use in all the Altida design, solution design. So what is the context of Altida with respect to Snowflake? So Altida is a data engineering framework built using Snowflake, implemented natively on Snowflake. There is no layer of abstraction or middleware involved in the implementation of Altida. It's completely on Snowflake. It's a metadata-driven architecture to automate and standardize processes, very repeatable, and it aligns with the data governance and security policies established in Snowflake. So you don't have to do anything special. So anything the organizations implement, it just adopts it. It also integrates well with the other Snowflake services like OpenFlow and Doc AI uh, seamlessly without any issues. With this brief introduction on Altida, and without further ado, let us begin. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Iftikhar, supported by Ravi and Harish.
Well, thank you, Anu, for the warm introduction, and welcome again to everyone who has taken the time to join this webinar. I'll start by giving a quick background by sharing Mirvac's story on transitioning to a modern, fully cloud-based data architecture. In early 2021, it became increasingly evident for us that the aging Azure patch services, which was for our data analytics platform, was becoming a barrier to progress. While the legacy platform had served us well for traditional structured data workload, it began to show significant limitation in scalability, flexibility, and its ability to efficiently process semi-structured, unstructured, and IoT data. These technical constraints coincided with the growing organizational demands for faster delivery of data products, increased agility, and the tighter enforcement of data governance and quality standard. Faced with these challenges and with the blessing of Mirvac's digital leadership, we initiated a strategic shift towards modernizing our data infrastructure. Our vision was to move beyond the limitation of legacy PaaS solutions and embrace a fully cloud-native architecture that could scale with our business needs, enable advanced analytics, and improve time to insights. And if we can move to the next slide, please. So after a thorough evaluation of several technologies, we selected Snowflake as our cloud data warehouse platform, simply because its ability to handle diverse data types at scale, near zero maintenance, and seamless scalability. In parallel, we chose Matillion as our primary data ingestion tool, owing to its tight integration with Snowflake and user-friendly low-code interface. However, during this transformation, we did our due diligence and worked out our challenges, which could prove vital if not tackled. We knew we had limited internal experience on our new cloud platform, and to mitigate that challenge, we needed to partner with a well-reputed data consulting firm and implement a framework with a metadata-driven ELT solution, which will adhere to operational efficiency, improved delivery speed, reduce cost of maintenance, and at the same time, provide platform stability. So after evaluating various tools and running multiple proof of concepts, we partnered with Altis Consulting and selected Altida as our meta-driven ELT framework. This helped us to overcome the limitation of our semi-manual bespoke ELT processes and become a fully automated meta-driven ETL framework built specifically for Snowflake. This wasn't just a technical upgrade. It marked a strategic shift in how we approach data engineering in particular, and moving from repetitive admin tasks to focus on scalability, automation, and business values. With the implementation of Altida, our migrated accelerated significantly, and the team successfully completed the transition to Snowflake within the agreed timeline. Next slide, please, Anu. So as I previously mentioned, from an operational efficiency standpoint, we collaborated with Altis Consulting to implement Altida, a solution that allowed us to integrate a modern data framework using Matillion and Snowflake. This integration enabled us to standardize and streamline our data ingestion processes through the use of reusable ELT templates. As a result, we achieved more than 50% improvement in data ingestion speed compared to our previous legacy pipelines, which I previously mentioned. It was Azure platform as a service. This is not only accelerated data availability, but also significantly reduced manual effort and improved scalability for future data ingestion needs. At the same time, we significantly enhanced our delivery speed and reduced cost of maintenance by moving away from traditional administrative tasks. Good old database backup, uh, table partitioning, and query optimization all of a sudden, become irrelevant. And additionally, by leveraging Snowflake and Altida, we were able to reduce the time spent on routine maintenance and shift our team's effort towards addressing real business challenges. This change empowered us to respond more quickly to evolving data needs, support faster decision making, and deliver greater data to stakeholders across the organization. Look, at the end of the day, the migration to Snowflake was a major milestone for us, but it was the implementation and all the hard work by Mirvac's enterprise data solution team and the partnership with Altis that truly unlocked the power of modern cloud-native platform. By embedding automation, standardization, and governance into our ELT processes, we were able to overcome key deliverables and operational challenges, while at the same time empowering our team to focus on delivering value from data. As a result, our data platform is now more scalable, agile, and resilient, ready to support our future goal across advanced analytics, real-time insights, and AI-driven decision-making. Thanks, Anu.
Thank you very much, Iftikhar, for sharing that amazing story. We truly enjoyed working with you and your team solving those complex challenges. So based on what you shared, I've got a few questions that I would love to dive into. Firstly, how easy was it for your team to adopt Altida and start building data pipelines using metadata-driven approach? Was it like a zero code or low code? Any comments on that, please?
It's in between zero code and no code. Altida being a fully metadata-driven ELT automated framework, which was built natively for Snowflake, as Anup has previously alluded, we can safely say that this is a very low code and low maintenance framework for us. From memory, I think it took around 2 weeks to set up and configure this framework in Snowflake. And after that, it was all about understanding and getting used to this tool for our data engineers. Some of the key advantages that comes to mind, utilizing the Altida is the reusable ingestion and transformation template that is already built for you. Whether your source system is relational database, CSVs, APIs, or complex, very complex APIs. All of this can be catered through Altida so far. What we have found, of course, there will be some exceptions where you need to, depending on the complexity, you need to do some customization at your end as well. But overall, we thought, in terms of standardized pattern, supporting all of those various source systems, it is a blessing for us.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Now that most of the data has been ingested into Snowflake, it's curated, model, and the business reports are being delivered, what's the next step in your future roadmap?
Yeah, look, you correctly mentioned that now that we have established a robust modern data platform using Snowflake, Altida, and Matillion, I believe we are well positioned to now unlock new capabilities and drive greater business values. With the foundation in this place, we can now focus on AI and machine learning to drive innovation in property and real estate. Some of the possible use cases, and it's just me at the moment, we have to get this approved from our ELT, but at the end of the day, some of the use cases that comes into mind is, for example, property value forecasting by utilizing, historical and real-time market data to predict property value and trends. We can also, dive in the tenant behavioral analysis to analyze the usage pattern, the payment history and sentiment to improve our retention strategies over long run. Predictive maintenance, leveraging our smart buildings, sensors and service data to predict equipment failures and reduce downtime in the future. At the same time, smart investment insights identifying high potential investment areas using demographic, economic, and property data. And last but not the least, most of our property, being smart, there could be opportunities in energy efficiency optimization by applying, AI models to recommend energy saving improvements in buildings. At the end of the day, our modern data platform is not just a technical upgrade; it's a strategic enabler for data-driven decision making, AI innovation, and long-term growth in real estate and property industry.
Oh, thanks for sharing that roadmap, Ithi. There are a lot of exciting use cases in there. So building on those advanced use cases that Iftikhar has mentioned, so Harish, I've got a question for you. So how do you see Snowflake helping companies or the customers to unleash the true potential of these advanced analytics use cases?
Yep, I mean, a great question, Ravi. I guess if you look at the next slide, what we've seen this year is there's been massive interest to adopt AI, but there's often a critical piece that's overlooked, and that's having a clear data strategy. At Snowflake, we believe that without those strong data fundamentals, AI can never deliver its full value. It's only when organizations have a well-articulated strategy that they can start to drive meaningful change. At Snowflake, we believe that we want to give everyone an easy way to leverage all of these new AI capabilities and unleash the full potential of the data that's already sitting in their enterprise. So today, we've already heard how Mirvac has worked with the Altus team to make sure you're starting strong with a clear data strategy to help drive change in the coming months. We want to be the provider of choice that has the tools and capabilities where you can build applications powered by your own enterprise data so that you can do innovative new things, differentiate against competitors in the market, and uniquely drive your business forward in the coming months. So I'll just go to the next slide. And before I present, I am required to provide a brief disclaimer. So I am going to be showing a few new features that are coming to Snowflake in the coming months. Many of the features presented today are still in preview, which means what you see today on the slides may be slightly different from the final product that we release in the generally available version. So if anyone is keen to try these features out, please keep in mind that preview features may be slightly different when you finally use it in your accounts today. So with that, I'll move to the next slide. And what we've seen from our conversation with customers is every organization is ultimately trying to drive business transformation. They want to have some way to stand out in the market, do more, do things differently. And what's been missing is that middle piece that connects all the value that's been trapped in that enterprise data sitting within your organization. So we've seen how today Altida and Mirvac have worked together to accelerate the ability to bring rich data sets into the Snowflake ecosystem. What this lets Mirvac do now is you have all this rich information sitting in Snowflake to work with, and you're probably asking, what do we do next? How can we start exploring data agents and AI agents? And how can we actually meaningfully drive any change in the organization? So if you think about what enterprise data actually is, it isn't just limited to structured tables that you query with SQL. Because of the power of generative AI, we're able to unlock the potential of multimodal data, which means all the images, videos, text that's been sitting in your data lake are now rich data sources that you can bring into Snowflake, use some of our new AI capabilities and integrate that into your existing reports or drive new use cases and even build applications that you can expose internally and externally so that you can do innovative new things with AI. So if we look at the next slide, I'd like to talk about a new feature that we announced this year at Snowflake Summit. So this is Snowflake Intelligence. What this capability lets you do is it brings the power of agentic deep research to your enterprise data. So we've already seen people gain value from AI agents plugged into their own data. And we often find the pain point with people that we talk to is that valuable information is locked away in different dashboards or it's bottlenecked by small data teams. So you might have the information somewhere in your organization in a BI dashboard, but you have to sift through 50 to 100 different dashboards to find the appropriate data point you need to make a meaningful decision. Or if you're bottlenecked by a small data team, we've heard stories of customers raising a ticket on a Jira board and then waiting weeks just to have a report that's been generated to answer those questions. Snowflake Intelligence is trying to unblock these challenges by providing a simple way for anyone to get the information they need through a simple chat interface using natural language. Now, data teams still play a vital role in this process because they are the ones that connect all these rich data sources to the AI agents. So data teams will set up connectors that can bring in information that's either text, images, or structured tables. They would apply the Snowflake governance and RBAC model to decide who can access what information. And you would build and then Snowflake Intelligence can be exposed to anyone in your organization that can go in and start asking questions right away. So all of this is protected by Snowflake's built-in governance and access controls. So what that means is if I were to go to the UI, ask a question, and someone else on my team asks the same thing, we would see slightly different results based on our individual data access levels. So we believe this is going to be very powerful because it makes AI accessible to everyone while still respecting good data security policies and things like the principle of least privilege. So if we move to the next slide, what we believe is data is only valuable when you start to really action and share those insights and products. More often than not, someone builds a dashboard that has a useful metric, but then it stops there. It's not utilized, it's not driving change, or it's trapped in a system that can't be sent any further for any further decision making. Snowflake makes it incredibly easy to share data between different business units, external vendors, or even any partner organizations that you work with. So we believe this is how we drive real change, by turning insights into action and enabling other teams to build on that foundation so that they can stand out and differentiate in the market. In the next slide, I want to talk about the Snowflake native app framework. Now, this is a capability that lets organizations build products and securely distribute them through the Snowflake marketplace. In many situations, we've seen customers build innovative data products and applications internally, and we believe there's value in making those capabilities available to the wider data community. What the native app framework lets developers do is they can publish their code and shared data sets into the Snowflake marketplace, and anyone can discover this listing and it can be consumed by anyone on our platform. And the application will be deployed and fulfilled through the Snowflake backend. And the application itself will run securely in a consumer environment with all the Snowflake guardrails applied. So you don't have to be worried about governance, risk, or legal asking you where this application came from. Is it security compliant? Because it follows the same Snowflake application model that our customers are already familiar with. In the coming months, Altida itself will be available as a Snowflake native app. So what this means is any organization can access the power of Altida and bring a lot more data into Snowflake, as you've seen today with Mirvac. And this means that if you're starting on your journey to build additional use cases with generative AI and Snowflake Intelligence, and you need a faster ramp to bring the data in, I highly recommend having a conversation with the Altus team to see how they can help you bring all of these powerful capabilities to your team today. Now, with that, I'll hand back to Anoop so we can go through a quick Q&A if there's any questions.
Yeah, just nothing recorded in the panel. Are there?
All right, might give it a few minutes. If anyone wants to drop a question in the chat, we're happy to take some.
Yep.
Harish, glad you mentioned about that native app capability. So what that means for you, if if you have to release any patches, that can be done straight through marketplace. It will be more easy for your team to consume those patches from a data perspective. Yeah.
Yep, sound exciting.
Yeah. Also, integration with OpenFlow is another thing that we'll be introducing to which has been introduced, and that's something you can look into too, Iftika,
That will
which will
be a
give you.
game changer for us. Pretty much the whole ELT and the data modeling, everything end to end in one platform is something that would be massive
Yep.
for us.
Absolutely.
So I just got a question in the Q&A panel. This is probably for you, Harish. The question is, what makes Snowflake different from other platforms?
Yep. So I'll take that one. So what I've seen is with Snowflake, we have three pillars for our product. We want Snowflake to be easy, connected, and trusted, which means organizations that use Snowflake should easily be able to build outcomes using their data pipelines and spend less time managing the pipelines themselves. So we are a fully managed service. We support all languages like SQL, Python, and we have a strong governance model that makes it easy to know that any data that you load in Snowflake is protected by our security. If you're using any application from the Snowflake marketplace, or if you're working with large language models through all of our model providers, we have protections in place to make sure that any inference that's made against your enterprise data still respects any governance, regulatory, or legal requirements that Snowflake is subject to. So you're not going to have any concerns about, we hear stories of customers often taking blurbs, uploading it to LLM websites, and then that's a data leak issue later. On Snowflake, it all happens securely within a Snowflake managed VPC. So we find that customers are encouraged to do more with their AI and data without any risks of any security or governance risks.
Thanks, Harish. There's a question for you, Ifti. As a part of the change, did Mirvac drop any platforms as Snowflake was able to do this work now? Did you decommission any systems?
Yeah, so we had, as part of the patch services, we had more than 16 VMs. So out of that, 10 of them has already been decommissioned, with a potential of huge saving. We are still dependent on a couple of internal platform, and that's purely because we are still using Power BI, and it needs gateway to connect to Snowflake. So yes, 80% of the VMs that we previously used has already been decommissioned.
Thanks. Ravi, do you want to take this? This is from Devin. How do you enforce your data engineers to adhere to your standards and guidelines when building data platform using Altida? So you're on mute, Ravi. Sorry.
So Anup, as you mentioned at the beginning, Altida is completely like a metadata-driven tool, right? So what that means, like it gives you the flexibility, like where you want to store your data objects, like within the Snowflake, in whatever format that the organizations or the teams gonna come up with. For example, they might say my stage table has to be in this particular format, whatever it is, and then that's all you need to configure. And that enforces the standard naming policies and even the column names for all the tables that are created by the tool. And because it's on the Snowflake, like you got to use the Snowflake RBAC policies. That's going to fit in quite well with all the tables that are created by Altida.
Cool. Thanks, Ravi. So this one probably is for you, Harish. How is Snowflake responding to the high demand for generative AI workloads?
Yeah, so I think we're definitely seeing more and more customers coming to us each day wanting to access models. So I think the two things we do there is we have partnerships with the three major cloud providers to get access to their GPUs to ultimately host the models within a Snowflake VPC. We also have agreements in place with most of the model providers in the market. So we've got agreements with OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama, so that when these models come to market, we typically get it on Snowflake Cortex on the same day. So with the new OpenAI OSS models that were released and Anthropic's 4.1 models, the day they made the announcement, we had it available on Snowflake the exact same day. So we find that as the Gen AI models are evolving, as new techniques are coming to market, we work with cloud providers and model providers to make all of this accessible to you. So if you want to try the latest and greatest models, it's as simple as going to the your Snowflake code, changing the model name from, Anthropic 4.0 to Anthropic 4.1, and you'll find that all your existing workflows will work exactly as is.
Thanks, Harish. So the last one I have here is maybe it's a combined question for you, Ifti and Ravi. Maybe you're able to answer this. How do you train your business users to be familiar with your data models and get the most of building reports or discovery analytics using Snowflake? What was the process you followed, Ifti?
Yeah, look, it depends on how data centric and educated your business is at the end of the day, right? So, if you think about the technical team, it's not going to be very hard for to train in Snowflake environment. At the end of the day, like what Harish mentioned, if you can write SQL, or if you can write any other language, you can. It's pretty much code agnostic, right? So you can use multiple code in the same platform. Naming the joining, if you are following a star schema, it's not a rocket science for people to understand if they have some sort of data literacy. But at the end of the day, it all depends on the maturity of your organization. That would be my answer, Ravi. I don't know if you want to add
Ravi,
some more.
schematic view, like can you
Yeah.
touch upon?
So
Yeah.
the semantic view is a new feature in Snowflake. So what that means is, like, up until now, like, you are creating all your star schema models or the Snowflake models or even the data vault models using Altida, and they get consumed by Power BI, right? But now with the semantic views, what you can do is, like, once your star schema model is ready, you can build a semantic view on the top of your star schema model and deploy that as a view for your data agent to pick it up. So pretty much you define the synonyms, you define the glossary, and then you define the meaning of every single column, and then you unleash the power of Snowflake AI to talk to your data models and get the responses out of it. So
Yeah.
that's the new trend, so the organizations are adopting.
Yeah. So you're bringing like a data catalog for your AI model, so for your AI data agents, right? Like,
Exactly.
and you can just predefine it and that's it. And then the data models can, the data agents can work out on the answers. Sure. Yeah. That's cool. It's very cool. That's it. There's nothing else in the queue. Anyone else to give it one more shot? Asking questions. Okay, we'll give another minute. Oh, we could stretch it to 37 minutes. That's good. I thought we'll wrap the whole thing up in 20 minutes. Cool. Okay, there's one more. So this is for Harish. Harish, for an organization that has existing capabilities, tools, platforms in ML, Gen AI, how do you position utilizing Snowflake Cortex? In other words, do you avoid using RAG?
Yep.
Avoid using RAG or use again and again? Yeah.
Right. I mean, I guess just to play that question back. So I would assume, Harsha, in your case, you're asking if your organization already has existing capabilities, how do you spend less time rebuilding Gen AI pipelines and more time getting value out of it? So if you look at Snowflake's Cortex's positioning, there's almost no setup required. Cortex Search is our hybrid search retrieval system. So you don't need to set up a vector database. You don't have to go in and configure your chunking strategy. All of that is managed by Snowflake for you. It is as simple as just pointing to data on a Snowflake stage, which could be an S3 bucket, creating a Cortex Search agent over that information, and then you could be typing and doing search and retrieval in under 15 minutes. So we make it very simple and easy to build these capabilities. We don't want you to go and set up complex pipelines, governance models. We have a simple approach that scales really well. So ideally, you should be spending more time using these capabilities to drive Gen AI use cases than building RAG on our system. We would do that for you.
Thanks, Harish. Okay. I think that should be it. Uh, okay. Thanks everyone for attending. I think we'll close this webinar, and obviously, just a reminder, you will get access to the link of this recording, so you can have a look at it or share it with others later. Thanks a lot for your time, all of you, and thanks to the panelist and FT for joining this session.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. Thank
Thanks
you.
all. Thanks all. Thank you.
Cheers.